Dying by Robert Pinsky. Nothing to be said about it and everything. The change of changes. Closer or further away. The golden retriever next door, Gussie, is dead. Like Sandy, the cocker spaniel from 3 Door Down, who died when I was small. And every day, things that were in my memory fade and die. Phases die out. First, everyone forgets what doornails are. Then, after certain decades, as a dead metaphor, dead as a doornail flickers and fades away. But someone I know is dying, and though one might say glibly, everyone is, the different pace makes the difference absolute. The tiny invisible spores in the air we breathe that settle harmlessly on our drinking water and on our skin happen to come together with certain conditions on the forest floor or even a shady corner of the lawn, and overnight the flashy pale stalks gather. The colorless growth without a leaf or flower, and around the stalks the summer grass keeps growing with steady pleasure, like the insistent whiskers that grow between shaves on a face, the nails growing and dying from the toes and fingers at their own humble pace, oblivious. As the nerveless moths that live their night or two, though like a moth a bright soul keeps on beating, bored and impatient in the monster's mouth. Analysis of Robert Pinsky's poem, Dying. Robert Pinsky, the narrator and point of view the story takes place in, opens the poem with a paradox. Nothing to be said about it and everything. The paradox itself is about death, and while few words are spoken about the matter, there is a lot to be said. This opening also creates a dramatic and serious tone, as it causes the reader to think about death. Repetition about death and dying create emphasis and an air of melancholy throughout the poem. Furthermore, Robert Pinsky personifies memories and metaphors in order to build upon the idea that death is inevitable, even to non-living things. This addition creates a tone of sadness as he recalls these dying thoughts and phrases. In the lines, "But someone I know is dying," and "the different pace makes the difference absolute," Robert Pinsky creates a tone of despairing. Yet he inserts a more cynical tone when he mentions how someone might say, everyone is. The next portion of the poem focuses on imagery and symbolism to show death in a drawn-out metaphor of life. He conveys the ideas of how all things are growing and dying around him, making the tone more grim yet thoughtful. The imagery Robert Pinsky chooses to focus on is that of the natural world, like air falling harmlessly around us, dead flower stems still within a field of growing grass, and the aspects of humans that continue to grow and die, like hair and nails. The symbolism at the end comes within the line, bored and impatient in the monster's mouth. It goes to represent all things, mostly living, waiting for death. Death becomes this monster's mouth as no one really knows when death will swallow them whole and remove their life. The end of the poem still carries a serious tone, but he also adds a tone of uncertainty. I believe he creates this uncertainty and ambiguity to better represent the unpredictableness of death.